有了 ，live 了。
有哈。你看得到吗 ，Ryan？
我看得到。
OK。
There are people joining.
OK， 可以看 ，try to。
You will be starting, right?
Wait, This I'll get cue from Faraz here.
Hello, Tony. Hello, hello. Can't hear anything. Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't hear you at all.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon to all. Okay. I hope all of you are well and safe during this phase 2 of your circuit breaker. Okay. My name is Tony, your online host for today. Okay. I understand that some of you may be interested to know whether we are able to hire helper as easy as during the pre-COVID era. Okay, as there are more restrictions to import new manpower into Singapore than before. Okay, today on behalf of Quest Associate, we are honored to actually invite Mr. Ryan Ng, okay, our Business Development Manager of Master Employment Agency, who actually specializes in helping us to find a suitable helper and share with us the know-hows in hiring one during this period of time. Okay, and as of course, look forward to look out and what to look out for in the future. Okay, guys, please remember to mute your audio so that there is no interruption while he's presenting. Okay, in the midst of the session, if there are any questions, feel free to type in the comment, okay, and we will try to get to you as much as possible. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ryan, I'll pass the mic to you.
Okay. Hi everyone. Okay, hi, thank you, Tony, for the warm introduction. Similarly, Master Employment is also very honored to be invited by Quest Associate today to do some sharing on any questions that you all might have. So today, how the flow will be that we will be sharing a bit about some questions that I thought you all may have regarding hiring a helper, as well as some of the questions posted to us. So we'll put it as a frequently asked questions of 10 frequently asked questions. So at the end of the session, we'll be giving you 2 bonuses. So do stay on to see what bonuses we have for you. And then also at the end of the session, if you still have any questions unanswered, I'll be very happy to address them here today. Okay, so I'll start. So Master Employment Agency. So our brand name Master Employment Agency has been since 2004. But my mother herself, she has been in this industry for more than 20 years already. Okay, so mainly we are doing helpers from mainly we are doing helpers from Indonesia, Philippines, and Myanmar. So what we do is that we go by the motto that if I will not hire the helper for myself, I will actually not recommend it to my clients. So we follow by this principle, and I'm happy to say that using this principle, we have actually very low transfer rates. Currently, we are at 0% transfer rate. And for us, all our helpers that when they arrive in Singapore, before we hand them over to employers, we do remind them on moral values, the importance of being honest, not to put anything into your pockets while you mop the floor, you sweep the floor. Important to put things on the table if it doesn't belong to you. And we always emphasize on the strict rules, legal things in Singapore, so that they understand that if they were to commit any crimes, any theft, or any things that are against the law, right? We as an agency will not be able and will not side with them. Even the embassy will not be able to help them. So this is what we always emphasize, and then we let them know that we emphasize a lot on why is it that important that they are here, to gain the experience, to acquire the skills, to leave actually a good employment records, so that if they were to want to return as a helper in Singapore, it's easy for them. Yeah. So from this, we also have a lot of testimonials from our valued clients. Yeah. Okay. So I think one of the main questions for employers, especially first-time employers, is actually what are the costs of hiring a helper in Singapore? Yeah, because many of them have the false impression that hiring a helper is very expensive. In fact, based on the global survey, right, although Singapore is always, one of the most expensive cities in the world, but food, public transport, and hiring a domestic helper is actually considered one of the cheapest in Singapore, even when compared to our neighboring country, Malaysia. Okay, so I'll just share a short video with you on the cost of hiring a helper.
What are the costs of hiring a helper? It may not be as expensive as you think. Let us break the costs down for you in this video. What are the costs of hiring a helper? It may not be as expensive as you think. Let us break the costs down for you in this video. Rather than returning home after work to an untidy and dirty house, you can have a full-time stay-in helper with just about $15 to $20 of salary. Most couples also experienced a better spousal relationship as they get to free up energy and time to spend with kids and loved ones. Bringing in a helper involves a one-time fee of somewhere between $1,300 to $2,500, depending on nationality. This amount brings in the helper all the way from her hometown, includes her country's local medical and Singapore's medical checkups, the transport to pick her up from the airport, her 2 years of insurance coverage, and so on. Monthly costs-wise, firstly it would be the helper's salary. Helpers from Myanmar are generally the cheapest, followed by Indonesians, then Filipinos. Secondly, it will be the monthly levy payable to MOM. If you have kid below 16 years old or elderly above 67 years old, it will only be $60 for her phone. It is paid to the agency as a form of advance salary. The amount depends on individual helper. Life is busy. Let us lend you a helping hand. Hire a helper so that you can focus on the more important things in life. Heads up now to 9853-3221 today.
I think based on because I've also opened up my live, I saw that the video there is a bit of lag time. No worries. The video will be you all can reach out to us. The videos are also on our Facebook page. You all can review it if you all would like to. If just now you already managed to look at the video clearly. Okay. So yes, cost of hiring a helper actually for Myanmar, the basic salary is actually only at 450 per month. So even for Filipinos, who most of them can communicate in English, they're only at a basic of $600 per month. So if you look at it, it's just a $15 to $20 per day, and someone help you day in and day out. Yeah, so it's actually quite affordable for most families. Okay. Okay, so this is actually one of the many questions that have been asked. So many people actually have the impression that how do I look for a good agency? Is it true that if I see an agency with many helpers seated outside the agency, is it actually a good agency since they have so many stocks to choose from? Yeah, so in fact, it's not true because most helpers, they cannot travel to Singapore using a tourist pass or visit pass to look for a job. So in fact, they will need to have a employer that confirms them. We have to have an IPA, a work permit issued before they can actually come to Singapore. So it's not the other way around. So as such, right, if you see an agency with a lot of helpers seated outside, most probably most of them are transfer helpers, meaning that they already have an employer, just that the employer either no longer need their service or the employer hope to change another helper. So otherwise, they are following their employer today. So either which they already have an employer, just that one is the employer haven't fetched them, have not yet fetched them. The other would be the employer no longer want their service. But while seated there, the employers are still paying for the levy, food, and lodging. So sometimes when you look at it that way, if an employer is still willing to pay food and lodging and levy, but would rather not have the helper at home, right? We have to really look into the reasons of the transfer, and I would emphasize that we have to take extra diligence when we are choosing helpers. So transfer helpers. It's not that there are no good transfers, but the probability is not on our side. So we have to take extra diligence and to find out the real reasons for the transfer. Okay. Okay, so hiring a good helper, is it by luck? This is also one of the things that I heard even among my own friends. They said, they told me, Ryan, is by luck one. There's no such thing as it's 100% by luck. They say it depends on luck. So if you were to put it that way, to me is that how you want to hire a good helper. Basically, we go to Guan Yin Miao, we pray to our ancestors and then hope that they give us luck, or maybe we do some things to improve our luck, and then we will get a good helper. Actually, this is not true. Although luck may play a part, but it's actually definitely a very small part in the equation. So what's most important is actually mutual matching. So just like a corporate employer hiring a professional employee, and whether it's a individual employer hiring a foreign domestic helper, it's always about the mutual matching. So and also about the ability and willingness. So let me give you a easy to relate example. Would be, for example, if you ask me today, I'm a father of two. Am I able to take care of newborn baby? Can I do newborn care? Can I take care of kids? I will tell you it's a definitely yes. I can take care of newborn baby. I can take care of kids. I can shower them. I can change their diaper and do everything because I have gone through that. You know, my wife, my mother-in-law, they went overseas, and I'm the only one caring for both. I can manage. But if you ask me whether I'm willing to do it as my job, I'm unwilling. So that's the difference between ability and willingness. So similarly, for helpers, we have helpers who are very experienced. You know, they have taken care of newborn care for many years, and they are doing a good job. They finish their contracts, but they no longer want to go through another newborn. Maybe it's because we understand it's tiring, right? So another side, it would be willing and unable. You know, some helpers very fresh, so they are willing to take on any job. They will say yes, yes, sir, yes, okay, everything yes and okay. But are they able is another thing. If we need to take care of elderly man who is 80 kg or 85 kg, let's say, unable to move on himself, and then you interview a helper who is 48 kg, 50 kg, and then they tell you, yes, 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 I'm willing, with no nursing experience, no experience, and then they need to move the grandpa and shower him, all that. She is willing, yes, we admire her for her, you know, her enthusiasm, but she's not able. So as agents, what we do, instead of, you know, sending whatever our suppliers send to us, let's say we have 5 Indonesian or, you know, 3 Myanmar suppliers, we do not just forward all the bios to our employers. In fact, we interview them. We do our best to interview them as if we are hiring them for our own, based on your requirements and circumstances. And then if we were to hire them, we will send to the employers who have the same requirements and same who are willing to hire, let's say, for the same need. Okay. So like I've mentioned earlier, if I will not hire the helper for myself, I will not recommend it to my clients. So of course, hiring a helper, ultimately, just like employee retention in a corporate environment, employee retention even in a household, it requires a lot of mutual understanding and communication for the long term, right? So all these factors play a part. So luck is actually, in my opinion, just a very small factor. So, okay. This is also one of the common questions people like to ask. SG experience and fresh, which is better? So I would say there's no stereotype. It really depends on what is more suitable for you. But of course, there are general expectations of SG experience and fresh. So some employers, due to circumstances at home, maybe, you know, they work on shift or they have to work on weekends, so they are unable to grant off days on Sundays. Yeah. So for this category, usually they have to look for fresh helpers, because Singapore experienced helpers, they will have certain expectations and they will want off on a Sunday. But it's reasonable. Actually, if we look at it, it's reasonable. They have been in Singapore for some time. They may have relatives, aunties, you know, cousins who are also working here. So all of them, they take off on Sunday, you know, they take off to catch up, to eat together. And if she's the only one to off on a weekday or on a Saturday, it doesn't make sense to them also. So we have to understand there are certain expectations. Whereas for a fresh helper, you know, it may be her first time traveling overseas, not to mention traveling overseas to work. So she may not have friends and she's not familiar with Singapore yet. So usually some of them, they are actually agreeable for no off days. Of course, with the appropriate compensation as stipulated by the MOM. Okay. Okay. So this is definitely another common question. Which nationality is better? Again, there's no stereotype. It always depends on suitability. So it's just like Singapore. Will I say that all Singaporeans are the same? No. Even Singapore is such a small country, right? There are very, very different people. So similarly, you know, Indonesia, Myanmar, Philippines, they are way bigger than Singapore. So they are really very different people. So we can't generalize a whole country like that. Yeah, there's definitely very, very different people in every country. So of course, there are still certain characteristics, traits that you may wish to understand. For Indonesians, most of them are Muslims. Of course, there are Christian Indonesians, but it will be very minority. So as if they are Muslims, they don't eat pork, and some of them do not touch dogs. So this is what we have to understand, is their religious reason. And then, of course, they do not eat pork doesn't mean that they cannot touch pork. So for Chinese employers who, you know, we love pork, it's okay. You can still consider Indonesians, because although they do not eat, they can cook, they can still handle the pork. So of course, I also have Chinese employers. They feedback that, but if they can't eat, they can't taste, how do they know that it's good? But my opinion is that they are cooking for you, right? They are not cooking for themselves. So if you want them to taste, they will let you taste, right? You tell them whether it's too salty or what, and then they will adjust accordingly, according to your preference, not according to their own preference. Yeah. So of course, there's also a trend that single Burmese, they actually do not prefer to take care of elderly males due to also their beliefs, also because they are not married yet. They do not want to be exposed to a fully naked man. So Filipinos, of course, US education system, so they focus a lot of human rights, and also and they believe in off days and holding the handphone. So if for some employers who insist on, you know, confiscating the handphone, or only allowing them or you know, confiscating and only allowing them to use at certain times, right? Most Filipinos may not agree, because this is not part of their belief system, and they think, of course, in their education system, and they have read the, you know, MOM regulations, they understand that it's their right to make friends. In fact, they can have boyfriends. That is according to the MOM laws. As employers, we do not have the right to say that you cannot have a boyfriend. Yeah. So this is actually some trends like that you all can realize, that you all may wish to know. And then we also have people that always ask me, I want Burmese speak Chinese. No, it's also a false information. Of course, there are Burmese that speak Chinese. There are Indonesians that speak Hokkien also, but mainly because that due to their work experience, they have worked in Singapore, they have worked in Taiwan. Of course, if you talk about Burmese Chinese, yes, they speak Chinese, but just like Indonesian Chinese, most of them are quite well off, you know. They are doing well, they are having businesses, they do not actually work as domestic helpers. So Burmese Chinese, Indonesian Chinese, it's very hard. At least for me, I've not seen one that work as a domestic helper. Yeah, okay. Okay, so another thing is, can I still hire a helper during COVID-19? Of course, yes, still hire a helper, but it will be based on priority and needs based. Okay, so based on my experience for the past few months, if it's incoming helpers, it's really very based on priority. We will even have a case that is bedridden, you know, no kids are available in the day to take care of the bedridden grandpa, but after appealing 7 times, because I think the government still feels that to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 is more important. So ultimately, they still advise strongly for employers who have existing helpers. MOM's direction is to advise to renew. Close one eye, try and work things out, renew first. And for people who do not have care needs, caretaking needs like newborn care or elderly care, no priority will be given to you, even if you have a very big house. Yeah. So of course, they advise you to seek maybe part-time helpers or other forms of alternatives. So also, if you're a Singaporean PR, good news is that based on our experience, the approval rate is much higher. There's also another reasons when some of our some of the helpers reach out to us, because they have all along been working for expats, and when the expats are going back, and then expats usually in their culture, they pass on the helper to their friends. So this time is very hard because their friend is also an expat, and the expat it's very hard for them to get an approval now. So these helpers who have been working for expats are now is also a bit of a change of job. Suddenly they have to try Chinese employers. This is also a trend that we are seeing now. Okay, so of course, even though you can still hire a helper, you can still hire a helper. There's additional cost and risk to bring a abroad helper in. Firstly, it would be the additional high SHN cost, the stay-home notice cost, which amounts to almost $2,000. And key thing to note is that they have to go through the SHN before they will go for their medical checks and even the settling in program, right? If they are new helper. So let's say, touch wood, after 14 days SHN, you have paid, the almost $2,000, and then they are found to be medically unfit. They will be sent back, and if you want a replacement helper, you have to pay another almost $2,000 again to MOM. It's not to agency, it's directly to MOM. So this is the risk you have to take into consideration, because previously, before COVID-19, a helper comes in, do the medical check, unfit, send back, you get a replacement from the agency free of charge, right? But this time it's because the cost is to the MOM, and before they even go through a medical. So the cost, you have already paid the SHM cost. Yes, so this one thing you have to note. So how to select an agency? I would say nowadays is a very open research in Facebook, word of mouth forums, parents forums, all that. People will have their recommendation for you. And of course, just now, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, look out for transfer rates, because agency to some agencies, the more transfers, the more profitable they are, right? Just like how headhunters profit based on job matching. They do not profit on an employee working in a company for 20 years from junior executive all the way to director. They do not profit from that, whereas they profit by bringing employees to the new employers, new corporate employers. So similarly for agency, works like that. For us, of course, it's my family business, it's my own business. I'm not an employee. I just transfer, make my commission, and if there are complaints, I just quit and look for next agency. For me, most of my clients actually are friends or even referrals from friends. So I emphasize a lot on doing a proper job, so that I get word of mouth referrals, because I can't just quit, right? I can't just quit. This is my own business. So that's the difference. Look up the transfer rates, research in Facebook, research in forums, research in parents group. That's how you can select an agency. Okay, so I'll now go in for the 10 frequently asked questions for hiring a FDW. Okay, so am I eligible for tax relief for hiring? Yes, if you are working non-single mom. So it's actually to encourage married women to stay in the workforce. So you can actually claim twice the levy paid in the previous year. So for instance, if you have a subsidized levy, $60 per month, in a year you will have paid 720, right? So 720, you will be able to claim tax deduction 1,440, 720 times 2. So it's twice the levy you have paid the previous year. This is what you can claim as a tax relief. Okay. So can an EPS pass hire FDW? Yes, they can, but these kind of circumstances currently, like I mentioned previously, it comes to priority. So far, it's hard for them. It's very hard for them. This priority goes to the Singapore citizen and PR. Based on observation, there's no black and white stating this. I can only say based on observation, based on experience. Okay. Okay, so what shall I do if FDW fails her 6 months medical checkup? This is clear cut. Fail, cancel work permit and send her home. Okay, so currently there's also the home-based 6 monthly medical service. So you'll be able to find out at the link there. Okay, so no need to send her down. Someone will actually come to the house to do the medical checkup for them. Okay, so how many off days do I need to give my helper per month? Okay, based on by default, every FDW is entitled to a weekly rest day. Okay, but you all can, employer and the helper can actually mutually agree to compensate for the off days. So let's say if the foreign domestic worker has 4 Sunday off and she's willing to have no offs for 2 years, then we will take her basic salary divided by 26 days times 4. to be paid to her. So similarly, if she's willing to have one off day, so you will take her basic, divide by 26 times 3, that will be her compensation to her. Yeah, so you will compensate the number of days that she's not going for off day. Yeah, so of course, now since that we are here, I have also employers that ask me, like, as in COVID period, they can't go for off days. It's not I don't let her go off day. It's not that I don't want her. I want her to go, but government don't allow her to go. So must I still compensate? It's not fair one. I mean, I didn't not allow her to go for off day. So this is where compassion you need to come in, because it's not the maid do not want to go for off. So similarly, it's not you do not allow. It's also it's not that she do not want to go for off. It's based on government regulation. So based on MOM, you will have to compensate her because she's not going for her off. Yeah, unless you all mutually agree that she said, okay, yes, she's not going out because government restriction, but she agrees to rest at home, then you have to give her the really to rest at home, not still calling her, hey, there are dishes, hey, this is dirty, and then you don't compensate her. It's very unfair for her. If both of you agree that today will be her off day resting at home, you have to take it that she's not there. Okay, so this is what you have to understand as an employer, because unlike us who work for our bosses, when we are away from office, we are away. They are staying and working in the same place. So we have to be the one to draw a line sometimes to be fair to them. When we will go away from, when we leave our office, it's really our own time. We really do not have to face our boss. But for them, the boss is staying with them, right? So this is where we practice a bit of understanding, right? Okay, so this is what I've explained. This is an example. If 560 will be the basic number of rest days, if they want to, so 560 divided by 26 times 2 will be the 43 to compensate. So 560 plus 43, 603, and she still has 2 offs. Yeah. So do I need to pay for the air tickets to send my helper back to her hometown? Yes. This is under the MOM regulation, yes. And it must include check-in luggage, okay? So who pays for sending? This is a subset of the earlier question. If it's terminated early, some employers say, I paid for this for 2 years. If it's terminated early, it's not fair for me. Yeah, so same. All employers, according to MOM, all employers who wish to bring in are required to bear the full cost of employing them, and this includes the cost of sending them home when the employment relationship ends. And then, of course, there will be employers who say, why do I have to pay if she was the one who resigned? Okay, so MOM has also answered this, that employers are basically responsible for the cost, and this is already made known to employers at the point of work permit application. So MOM also enforces this is also because they want to prevent a situation where the FDW, upon termination of employment, is left stranded in Singapore with no other means to return home. Because some helpers, they send home all their money and they do not have the capacity to purchase a ticket home. And similarly, I think we, as an employer, we show compassion. They're earning only $15 to $20 a day. Okay. So is there any minimum income needed to employ? There's no stated black and white for this, because MOM also chooses to exercise a bit of flexibility when it comes to this, depending on needs. But there's a requirement based on the realistic overall cost. So although MOM did not state specifically, but based on our experience, it's about 30,000 NOA or 2.5K monthly income. So that's quite reasonable. And then if employer is no longer working, some employers say, no, I'm retired or what. There are also other schemes available, be it sponsorship, that means your kids who are working, sponsoring you to hire a helper, or even fixed deposit scheme. So some elderly, they do not have income anymore, but they have fixed deposit. There's also fixed deposit scheme, which MOM will inform you about the amount, and then you place, and then you can still hire help. This is also one of the options. Okay, so under what circumstances am I eligible for subsidized levy rate? Subsidized meaning it's $60 a month. instead of 300 a month. So that's actually a 5 times difference. It's quite a lot. So so as an employer, basically, if you live with anyone, young child below 16 or elderly who is at least 67 years old, or the person with disabilities. So the first two is actually automated, yeah, and then you will qualify for $60 a month. Okay. So yes, so for this levy rate, let's say if you have 2 helpers at home, if you do not have the subsidized rate, it will be the $300 for the first helper. Second helper will be $450 levy. But if you have 2 16 years old or 1 16 years old, 1 67 years old and above at home, even if you hire 2 helpers, it will be both at $60. So if you only have 1 67 years old person at home, so your first one will be 60 and your second helper will be 300. It will work like that. Yeah. Okay, so it depends on it's a needs based. MOM tweak this to fit the needs based requirement. Okay. So is MAID insurance compulsory? Definitely yes. Okay, so what's the minimum coverage? MOM also has some guidelines. Medical insurance, at least 15,000 per year for inpatient, and a personal accident, sum assured of at least $60,000 per year. Okay, so what is security bond? Do I need to place that upfront amount? So a security bond is actually a binding pledge to pay the government if either the employer or the worker, the helper, breaks the law or work permit conditions. So the bond is in the form of a banker's or insurance guarantee. So you must buy a 5,000 security bond. Okay, for FDW, most probably not Malaysian. Yeah, so you can buy the bond at any bank or insurance company. So you do not have to place the $5,000 on your own. You can buy a bond so that they will place for you. Okay. So under what conditions will the security bond be forfeited? These are some of the scenarios. Violating any conditions of work permit. If you don't pay your worker salary on time, you fail to send your worker home, or your worker goes missing. Yeah. So MOM's guideline is that the responsibility of hiring a helper is actually a lot of responsibility based on the employers. Yeah. So being an employer is not easy, right? But it takes, if you hire you don't think everything is by luck, go through the right agency, go through someone who really thinks for you, and then treat their helper well. Lots of communication, understand what's it takes effort. It's not, because it's a human, it's not a non-human who is working for you. Where if it's a human, we have to take the extra effort to understand them, understand how they are going, especially if they are first time in Singapore. Sometimes they are very fresh. There are a lot of things that are unclear, or they may be homesick. Yeah, so talk to them as an employer. Okay, so I think we have come to the end of all the frequently asked questions. So I have 2 bonuses for you, as I shared before I started the presentation. So bonus 1. Okay, so because currently it's still the COVID period, and in fact in Singapore we have a lack of helpers because of the high barriers of entry. Okay, so high barriers of entry, and MOM has also stepped in to facilitate the transfer of helpers in Singapore. So similarly, some employers who may no longer need the services of their helper, be it, let's say, elderly, has passed on, or maybe the kids have grown up, teenager already, help with the housework, don't need helper anymore, or perhaps you have suffered a pay cut, or the wife decides to work from home, or there's a relook at the financial circumstances of the family. So there are families like that who no longer need a helper. So if there are good helpers that we want to help the community, refer them to us. If you have any friends who may have such a helper, refer them to us. So we will match these helpers to the respective employers, because there are a lot of employers who are in desperate need of helpers now, who are unable to get a helper. due to the restrictions, due to travel restrictions and limited approvals. So you too, can play a part in this. And for Master Employment Agency, we are taking the extra mile. We are rewarding referrals. So if you refer your friend, who has a helper for us to transfer. Once the successful transfer has taken place, you as the referrer will earn $100 NTUC voucher, and your friend as the employer of the helper will also earn $100 NTUC voucher. So both of you, each $100 NTUC voucher as a token of appreciation to help in the facilitating of these helpers, to help with the families in need during this period. Okay, so you can share with your friends on this. Yeah. Okay, bonus 2. Okay, bonus 2 as Master Employment Agency is also the preferred maid agency by the Singapore Instagram Mummies community. So you can actually find out more from our website or the SG Insta Mummies Instagram, which is a search, and then you are able to find it. So for past existing clients, or even past and existing clients of Master Employment Agency, they also have a discount code. So using this discount code, MEA-VIP, on the website of the sginstantmummies.com, you can see the URL above. You will get an exclusive discount code for every product services listed on the website. If you are a Master Employment Agency, past or existing client. But today, since you are on this live with us, you can also use this discount code, yes, to get any of the products and services you look there. And all these products and services are actually recommended products and services that you can consider is more relevant to mummies and kids. Yeah. Okay, so I've come to the end of the presentation, and I'm okay to take some questions and answers. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, hi, no problem. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ryan, for his insightful sharing. Okay, it just can be seen from, we do have a couple of questions for you. Okay, first is, do you have actually ready transfer maids agency currently at this moment?
Okay, currently, 2 days ago, yes. Today, no. Currently, because of the demand, right, is very, the demand for transfer helpers is never ever in 20 over years of my mom in this industry, we have faced this issue. So usually the demand for transfers are low. So people would rather, oh, it's okay, I rather wait, I don't want transfer. That's usually the trend. But now I receive, because most of the time I'm doing my own friends and friends referrals. But now sometimes randomly I receive calls in the day. They call me. They don't even know who am I. They will be like, oh no, I'm calling down the list of agencies to look for transfer helpers. So now people who are desperately needing a helper, they are just calling agencies looking for transfer. So the demand for transfer helpers, right, is actually about 20 to 30 is to 1, I would say. So very, very. So if I have a transfer, within next few hours, I sent it up. It's gone. It's very fast.
Yeah,
and
understand
helpers,
now maybe supply is less than demand lah. Yeah.
Way less. So helpers, they also know that. So of course they tend to be a bit more selective also, right? Because they know that now I can find a job, right?
So can I say now it's employees market at this moment for the helper side? Yeah.
Definitely employees market. Yeah. So employers, in fact, 2 days ago, I have experienced it for myself. Employers are calling me. They say, oh, this one. I said, never mind. They said I can offer a higher basic, 600 plus. How higher basic? Because we as agency, we decide after discussion with the helper, we decide on the salary compensation, and then we send it out. But employers, they counter offer. I can offer her higher salary, better welfare, and then they say, and I can give you a higher agency fee, like that. We are experiencing this, but us, because ultimately I still want the proper matching, and I think it's our responsibility. If an employer confirms already and the helper accepts the job and it's a good matching, right? we should not, or wow, this one can offer me higher agency fee, and then I say sorry, I reject the job. This is not our practice. So importantly, we want a good matching. The helper likes the employer willing to hire the helper, and we hope that they will work for 2 years and more. Yeah.
Definitely, just like needs-based selling. I mean, more to it. Yeah. Okay. Actually, there are. Okay, just now actually I have another question, but actually you answered in your slide already, which is can I disallow Filipino helper to not go on Sunday and make up to them with extra pay? I think you did mention how to calculate that lah. Oh, the monthly pay divided by 30 times 26, sorry.
Okay, I saw. Basically, you can't disallow or allow, as I've mentioned in the presentation, that it's based on mutual agreement. So best during the interview, if you have such a special request, is not to go on a Sunday. You prefer on a Saturday or a weekday. You have to express it during the interview. Yeah, so it's based on mutual agreement. It's not one-sided. It's not implemented by the employer or requested by the employer. It's not one-sided. It has mutual.
Yeah, it's a mutual respect, understanding. Yeah. Okay, Ken. So currently there are no more questions at this moment. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Thank you, Ryan, for your sharing. Okay. Okay, actually, as can be seen from Ryan's slides, okay, MID insurance is compulsory in Singapore. Okay, am I right to say that? And the security bond can actually be covered via MID insurance. Okay, as in the MID insurance is not the insurance company pay for you, is that in case in the event when the MID disappear, you are still liable for the bond. Just that at that moment you need to pay the bond upfront. Okay. And hence, of course, I would like to bring you to our Great Eastern MID insurance, okay, with 3 plans to choose from. Okay, with regards to more details on that, feel free to contact any of our Great Eastern agent from GFA. Okay, and furthermore, for today's webinar, we are also giving away free 6 months home content insurance and free cleaning services. Okay, home content means the fire insurance for your home. Okay, and you can actually apply it via online. Okay, and with regards to the URL, feel free to actually get your agent to share with you, okay, the URL, how to apply for that. Okay, so are there any more questions for Ryan? Last call. Okay, please type in the chat box and we'll try to answer most of your queries. Okay, if not, I hope Ryan has answered most of your burning questions with regards to hiring of helpers in Singapore.
I think Vincent, he said that he's referring to situation like this COVID situation. Yeah, but based on MOM updates, right? They do not state specifically on which day also, but they do encourage that helpers take their off days on weekdays. It's encouraged. So I will still communication. If the helper, try and talk to the helper, let them understand. Let them understand it's also for their own safety, it's for the family's safety, and then try and discuss with them, because there's no laws on this guiding this, whether they are allowed to go on Sundays or not. So sometimes helpers may also feel they may feel unfair. They see that we Singaporeans are already heading out, are already hanging out with our friends, and then they feel that you just because I'm your helper, you don't allow me to meet my friends like that. So try and talk to her, communicate to her nicely, and try and work things out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I think the most important takeaway is a mutual understanding and respect between a helper and the employer. I think that's most important, so that at least both she's happy working for you, and you get better. When she cooks, it will taste better lah, I suppose so. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once again, I thanks Ryan for his sharing, and on behalf of Quest Associate representing Great Eastern Financial Advisory, I thank all of you for attendance in today's Zoom. Live. Okay, Facebook Live. Okay, Ken, I look forward to see all of you if we have such Facebook Live in the future. Stay safe, stay sweet, stay healthy. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care of you. Bye-bye.